Longtime SOGI advocate Mike Bernier has been announced as the new leader of CentreBC. They're trying to establish themselves as a viable option up against the NDP and the BC Conservatives. I'm going to show you a short clip from his speech this afternoon, and then I'm going to share with you the one way that we can completely shut down CentreBC before it gains any traction. Watch this.
I will truthfully say that it is very frustrating watching the divisive politics that we've seen right now with the new leader of the BC Conservatives that has a bit of a divide and conquer attitude. We're hearing the frustration within that party right now. I will never apologize for trying to make our schools safe for children. That, first and foremost, is what we were doing when we brought in the anti-bullying policies with SOGI in our school systems around the province. As a political party, we were proud of it. As the minister who implemented it, I've never lost a night's sleep worrying about that one because it was the right thing to do.
Here's the thing. CentreBC is really just NDP light. And Mike Bernier is a former MLA and cabinet minister primarily known for his role in the implementation of the sexual orientation and gender identity teaching that went into the schools. That's SOGI. Now, if you think that teaching kids should primarily be focused on reading, writing, arithmetic, and history, then welcome to the BC Conservatives because we're the only party here that takes that position. We're also the only party that really takes a position against the chemical castration of children because it's morally wrong. Now, if you disagree with that, maybe CentreBC is actually the right home for you. But here's what I'd like to share with you. There is one way that we can completely shut down this new party startup before it gains any traction. And I've mentioned this before when I talked about the startup of the BC Liberals that they were trying to get going. All we need to do is put forward a bill that whenever an MLA crosses the floor, that it'll immediately trigger a by-election. Now, if that passes, which is very likely, then CentreBC will be completely irrelevant. Now, why is that? Well, the primary reason that a bill like that going forward would shut this party down is because most MLAs that would consider joining CentreBC won't do it till after the next general election. The reason is a lot of these MLAs, and of course there's exceptions to this, but a lot of them are very self-centered individuals, and they're primarily focused on their paycheck, their pension, or their notoriety. Now, before they go and risk their paycheck and pension and notoriety by joining CentreBC, they're going to evaluate what their risk is. So pre-general election, if we're going to have an election in 2 years, they're going to look at it and go, if we join a new party with very limited infrastructure, with limited funds, and with really at this point not a whole pile of public support, there's less of a chance that we will win our seat under CentreBC as opposed to just staying with the NDP or the Conservatives. Now, knowing this, that doesn't mean that those MLAs won't cross the floor immediately after the general election. I mean, that's really what we've seen taking place federally. You've got candidates that run on a particular platform with their own principles and values, and then they completely betray their constituents after winning their seat and joining a party with conflicting values and principles. So let me ask you this question. Who hates floor crossing? The general public. So this bill would be so accepted by the public. The reason is people don't like the idea that they can vote for a candidate believing them, believing their word, believing their platform, only to have them betrayed after they win the election. People hate that. Not only is this bill bipartisan, but it's very likely to pass. It's actually historically been the NDP that have been the most consistent against floor crossing. It was the federal NDP back in 2012 that actually proposed a private member's bill to require a by-election upon a floor crossing. So this fits in very well with their ideology. But it also fits in very well with consistent conservatives because conservatives want to uphold democracy and the voice of the people. So I believe on this issue, it's completely bipartisan and very likely to be approved because the people want it and both parties should want it. Now, Carrie Lynn Finley and David Eby, I suggest that you start crafting a bill to shut down floor crossing without a by-election. And when you do so, you'll make CentreBC completely irrelevant.